Hi creator friends, my name is Audrey. Welcome to my studio. I'm a teaching artist and I work primarily with watercolor, but I also work with color pencil, gouache, alcohol markers, and I'm just kind of exploring and being very open to other mediums as well. I also have an online shop where I sell art prints, greeting cards, stickers, notepads, and lifestyle goods like tote bags, tea towels, washi tape, and mugs. Today, I want to look at the Luminous Watercolors from Holbein. Now, I am a Holbein brand ambassador, but I purchased this set myself. In this video, we're going to look at how they swatch on white paper, black paper. We're also going to look at how they lift. I'm also going to do some color mixing within the Luminous set. And then I also did some mixing with white mediums like gouache and the Bombay India inks. So let's get started. So there are 12 colors in this set, and I bought the smaller ones. They come in both 5 milliliter and 15 milliliter tubes, but I bought the smaller ones because I realized that 5 milliliters is really more than enough to get you by. So you really don't need the 15 milliliters unless you really want to commit. The half pans actually can hold about 2.5 to 3 milliliters of paint. So 5 is really enough to fill at least one half pan. You can see how I actually got the 48 color set, how I set up my original palette, and I'm still using a lot of those colors to this day. And it's been more than a year. The one tricky thing that luminous colors like this is going to run into is that these colors will not be light fast. So light fastness just basically means like how quickly or how slowly it's going to fade over time. Obviously, in general, you don't want to expose your work to sunlight as much as you can help it. As for me, I don't usually paint to sell, so I usually scan my artwork right away, or I paint within a sketchbook or paper that's not necessarily going to be, framed or anything like that. If I am going to sell the painting, I'll probably either let the client know to make sure to display it in a, not sunny room or put it behind like UV glass or something like that. So all of these colors have the opacity rating of semi-transparent, and they're also all semi-staining. At least I believe they all are. I didn't really look at closely every single one of them, but I think most of them are. So I'm going to do a couple of tests today just to really see the versatility of these paints. So my white paper is from Legion. This is just cold pressed 140-pound watercolor paper, and this is also from Legion, and this is black cold pressed 140-pound watercolor paper. So I'm going to do some swatching, just see how they lift, show you the different values that each color can do. I'm also going to test the opacity. I also want to see if they can mix with each other. Usually I don't mix bright luminous colors like this with other colors, but when I did my bows and bow ties collection, I did mix my bright rose, which has a fluorescent ingredient in the color. I mixed that color with Naples yellow, and it created a beautiful coral color. So I'm kind of into that. So I want to see if they can mix with each other and what they look like when they mix with other colors. Maybe white watercolor, white gouache. So let's get into it. So let's start with the swatching on the black watercolor paper. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna put them just on the paper. Oh boy, oh wow, it's already kind of like covered, but you can definitely see just how neon it looks like. Oh, this one's, yeah, like already kind of dirty already. Ah! They have a great range of colors. I wish that maybe there was one more greenish color, but I mean, so far it's really nice. Okay, let's see how they swatch. So I'm going to do one at, almost full opacity. Again, it looks like you can kind of see the paper because again, this is just semi-transparent. Already very, very impressed. I don't see a lot of, fluorescent watercolors. Like I do see fluorescent ingredients in paints, but I don't see a lot of it. Yeah, just like a whole set like this. It's like I have a whole set of like, highlighters, but in paint form. I love it. The paint is activating like really nicely. Oh my gosh, look at this color. That is, oh, just so pretty. As I'm doing these swatches, I'm trying to think about, how I can use these. I definitely thought about using this, oops, used too much water. I thought about using these maybe for an upcoming summer collection for my shop. But in terms of like, what I would paint with them, yeah, I really had to kind of like think. I thought about doing landscapes. I don't do a lot of landscapes, but I thought about doing landscapes with these colors. Oh wow, this what was this called again? I think this was a luminous purple, luminous blue violet. That looks beautiful on the black paper. It doesn't look very neonish because it's not as bright, but you can still definitely see it on the black paper. It is wow. Yeah, so I thought about landscapes. I also thought about like if I do flowers, maybe I do just like a set of, a set of neon flowers. Or even using these as like part of a highlight, or I don't know. Yeah, there's so many possibilities. I would think that, yeah, if maybe you're doing a cityscape and you want to use this bright yellow or even these like as part of the, lights in the background, or I'm imagining like a street light. I mean, I think flowers and some of these pinks and purples would be, wow, would be insane. Okay, can I just tell you that even my paper towel looks so pretty? Look at this. It's like so bright. That's so crazy. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the white watercolor paper. All right, let's get into swatching. All right, so far I've swatched on black watercolor paper and white watercolor paper. So I wanted to kind of look at some of these colors because they look an awful lot like some of my other colors. So first of all, I think these luminous colors were meant to be more used on white watercolor paper. They just stand out so much more, but it's not to say you can't use it on black watercolor paper. And that's also why I did this test, because I did want to see, yeah, how it looks. So one of the things that I noticed was that the blue looks like, doesn't look luminous at all, right? And so when I looked at the actual pigment that's inside, it's actually just PB15, but it's really close to my peacock blue color. So let me pull this back out, right? I mean, kind of similar, right? This peacock blue actually has PG7 in it, so it's a little bit more greenish blue rather than just pure blue pigment. But yeah, it looks very similar. And again, it doesn't look luminous as in neon or fluorescent at all. And then I looked at the magenta and violet. First of all, these two look very similar, but it also does look pretty close to my quin magenta as well, right? Just like comparing those, it looks pretty similar. And when I look at the pigment names, again, I don't see like fluorescent elements in it. Yeah, so that's just something to note if you're thinking of getting, you know, this entire set. I mean, here's my opera color up here, and there's the opera. Like that is, you know, I feel like my opera, my regular watercolor is almost just as bright as it is in the luminous. The pink is definitely fluorescent though, that is for sure. That's unmistakable. So yeah, I'm just a little surprised, I guess. I mean, I have seen some other people do swatches and, you know, they have noted that some of these colors aren't as neon as you might want them to be or that you expect them to be. So that is very consistent with what I'm finding out as well. Let's see, you know, what they look like when they mix with each other. Oh my gosh, I can't spell luminous colors. So terrible. Okay. So I'm not going to mix all the colors because I don't have time for that, but let's mix the colors that, you know, would be considered like primary-ish colors. So definitely the luminous red. Let's grab the yellow and let's do the luminous blue, even though I don't really feel like it's very bright at all. And then I do want to grab maybe the magenta. Yeah, maybe the magenta. Okay, so I'm gonna mix the red into both the yellow and the blue, as well as the magenta into the yellow and the blue. So let's do some more mixing. And again, I don't recommend doing this if you plan on, you know, displaying your work or anything like that, because just because you mix luminous colors with other colors that don't have fluorescent elements doesn't mean that it changes the light fastness rating. It's still going to fade over time, okay? This time I wanted to see what they look like when I mix it with gouache. So I do have the video about, you know, mixing white mediums into watercolor paints. So make sure to check that out because I think it's really interesting. So I also want to just see how it looks when you mix it into permanent white gouache as well as inks, because I think, you know, they do have, you know, fluorescent inks as well, but I just want to see, yeah, if you can get that same effect, but mixing the luminous watercolors. So let's try that out. So I'm not going to mix all of them because we'd be here forever. So let's choose the ones that are more like pretty bright. So let's do the red. Definitely the lemon. I think the green is very bright, and the pink. I guess I could also throw in the orange as well. So we'll do 5 colors into the gouache as well as the inks. Okay, so let's go in order. I'll do red, orange, yellow, green, and then pink. Okay, can I just say wow? So I feel like you really can't go wrong with using either the gouache or the Bombay India inks because they still maintain the luminous quality, but they're more like pastel colors now. I am just like blown away. I really am. I guess I didn't expect it to be, yeah, still just as bright. Like I thought the white would kind of mute it, you know, but it didn't. Like it just made it like pastel, but so much brighter. It is so pretty. This is definitely giving me spring vibes. I mean, when you see just the neon colors themselves, they're giving, you know, like summer vibes, right? But then you add white to them. Oh my God. Like suddenly I can see Easter eggs with this color. Ah, I can definitely paint florals with this. Wow. I have no words. So if we were to put these side by side, I mean, again, I really like the brightness of these, but I think when you add a white medium to them, it just kind of opens your world up to a whole host of possibilities. The inks are just a little bit more runny. So if you want to be able to apply it like really fluidly, or if you want to use it for calligraphy, like I know a lot of people use the Bombay India inks for calligraphy. So if you just wanted to adjust the color a little bit, right? But instead of getting another giant bottle of ink, right? Just mix a little bit of paint into it. Like this, seriously, just, yeah, it changes the game. It really does. I'm just like, just taking it all in. It's so pretty. And now I'm getting all kinds of inspiration because I thought maybe I would just use these straight from the tube for my summer collection or, you know, just whatever. But this is definitely getting me spinning. It really is. Oh my goodness, just even just look at this palette. Like these colors are just so pretty. Like they just scream spring. Okay, one of the final things I'm gonna do is do a lifting test. And for that, I like to use my angular shader. This is a size 1/4 inch from Princeton, the Summit line. So just gonna dab it in some water, just some clean water, and then do a little circle like in the middle of all of these first row swatches or first column swatches. Like, look at this. This is still so pretty from the pastels. All right, so here are the swatches with their colors lifted. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. And again, they did say that they're semi-staining, so it is pretty obvious in the way that these lifted. Some of them are definitely a little bit more staining than others. It's all just relative, right? Okay, so some final thoughts about these Holbein Artist Watercolors set of 12, the Luminous in the 5 milliliters. If you really like the Luminous watercolors, but want to buy them individually, the good news is you can. Because like I said, some colors are not as fluorescent as you might want them to be, right? I would definitely recommend you get the red, orange, yellow, lemon, green. Maybe skip some of these blue and purple colors and then get the pink. Yeah, because those are definitely fluorescent. Like my eyes still hurt. So right now for me in the US, this set of 12 is over $70 at my local art store. It is a lot of money, so I'm not discounting that fact. But do I think it's still worth it? I think so, because again, the majority of them are very luminous. You can do it on both white paper and black paper. But I think it's also worth it because even when you mix it, I mean, you can get some really cool colors. Like I don't have this mauve-y color in my current watercolor set. I don't have this orangish, burnt orange kind of color in my set either. So I can only imagine if I keep mixing and trying to see what kind of results I can get, I can make so many more colors, and that to me is so exciting. And even the fact that sometimes when you do mix some of the luminous colors together, you still maintain some of that luminous essence. So that's just an extra bonus. I was definitely not expecting the mixing of the luminous colors into a white medium to surprise me so much, but it did. Like this definitely gives me bright spring vibes, maybe spring and summer kind of vibes. So I am all for it. Again, if you're a calligrapher and like to work with more inks, then you can mix some of these into it instead of buying all those fluorescent inks, because really how much of it are you going to be using it, So just mix paint into your inks, like beautiful. Now, of course, the biggest downside is that these are not light fast. So if you are looking to, display your artwork or sell them, using these is not an option. Although this luminous blue, again, doesn't have any fluorescent elements, unless I'm not reading their pigment name right, but it just looks like a regular blue. Yeah, same thing with some of these. And I think that's why they don't look as neon-y as some of these other colors. So again, if that really bothers you, then don't get this, right? But I think you can still get it for fun. And that's why I buy the small tubes, right? The 5 milliliters still goes a long way. I mean, I used it a lot for even just all this testing and swatching today, and they still look brand new, so a little bit goes a long way. Even my original set of watercolors that I made, the palette that I made over a year ago, I mean, some of these I've used a little bit more. You can see that I still have more than half the tube left over. Some of these colors I do have to refill, like the sap green I have to refill, and the terre verte, I still have more than half, but I'm definitely running low. So there are some colors that, you will have to refill more often, but that's just because, you gravitate towards those colors. That's expected. But yeah, even the 5 milliliters goes a long way. I think these are so fun, and I think I give a lot of credit to Holbein for, coming out with these neon colors. I don't see a lot of these in the watercolor world, so this is really exciting. I mean, I see neon acrylic gouache, I see neon gouache, but I don't see a lot of neon watercolors. So I think this is really unique, really fun, and definitely worth it. Give it a try. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and informational, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and let me know in the comments if you've used these luminous watercolors from Holbein and which color you really liked. And did any of these color mixtures like surprise you? Because man, it really surprised me. I have other videos where I review Holbein watercolors and gouache, and I also looked at the acrylic gouaches in my live streams. So I'll link all of those videos in the description box below. Next video you should watch is the one where I set up the 48 color palette. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.